Well, I found time to watch Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And if you didn't already figure it out, because it's in the title, yes, this ends something of on a cliffhanger, because there's a part 2. So the story continues on there. So before I saw it, I binged the Mission Impossible films. The only one I had seen before all of this was the first one. I don't know why. Maybe because I was kind of bummed on the first one. And the first one's fine in and of itself. The follow-ups are far more spectacular and whatnot. But that one, I think the thing that really bothered me was how they treated the character of Phelps. I really didn't like that. Because I had enjoyed the original series and even the reboots or follow-up, not reboots per se, I guess, but follow-ups to it. It just that formula and for that show. And there was an awful lot of spy shows and Mission Impossible was another one that came out of that era, out of the James Bond boom, from the 60s on forward. And but that one, it had its own unique style and take to it, and it was a very much ensemble. It was a team. That's not really present. There is a team, even in the second one, of the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible take. But it's the adventures of Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise's character. That's pretty much. With Phelps, I would have thought a better take would have had Tom Cruise be Phelps. I don't know. They felt they had to create the new character of Ethan Hunt, and Phelps becomes a villain. That's the problem. Had he died or something like that, and that kind of thing, a heroic death, that would have been much better. But I kind of thought, well, just say that this is Phelps, and he's a younger version. Well, at the time. I mean, look, Tom Cruise is in great shape, but it's starting to show. We should all be so lucky to be in great shape as he is. But I'm kind of wondering if the next film will be the final one in the franchise, It's got to end sometime. But it's a fun, exciting romp through these films. Some are better than others. The second one, a lot of people are very critical of it because it is a bit of a departure from the formula. Even though when I finally saw it, I'm like, well, there's still the aspects of his team and everything, but it's more inclined to a Bond film than a Mission Impossible film, which, granted, it's like, look, it's the same type of material and whatnot, but still, there it is. But it's interesting, now, and I, heard this mentioned about, the chimera virus. And that whole plot about, hey, let's make a virus that we already had the cure for, and then everybody will have to pay us for it, That's what this crazy movies, Yeah. So because it's like, it's fun adventure and escapist, and and some of the fixes that they get into, it's like, oh, come on, you couldn't, but hey, they get through it. And really, the ending was just a bit much. There's no way Ethan could have gotten out of that one. The bad guy had him dead to rights. It was done. He's going to kick the gun up out of the sand and spin around. No. He's not the Flash. He couldn't spin. So that's the kind of thing where there's fantastic stunts and the likelihood anybody would survive that, but when you push it too far, even in a simple thing, not like jumping off of trains or out of planes and all that sort of stuff, whereas it's this one, it's a bit much. That's not going to work. And later on, there's a film where he's stuck underwater, and there's really no way he would not. Well, he does drown, so they do that. So actually, as farcical as that is, it actually plays out where the girl comes in and saves him and everything. But and still, he would not have made it. Especially, he wouldn't have been able to hold his breath as much with the thing spinning around and all that. If you have seen the films, you know what I'm talking about. But it's just so much fun, and the interplay between him and his team and all that. And you got Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames, and they're very good backup for him. And of course, more times than not, they're the comic relief here and there, mostly Simon Pegg and all that, and it plays out. And then the girls are hot and beautiful and all that good stuff. Did you need to see the other films to see what? Well, with each one, there's enough there to where if you just came in, you could still enjoy it. But it's far more gratifying when you understand the background. And this one, it's looking like, yeah, I would think the next one would be the end, because here you have an old villain return, and Ethan, really hates him. They do explain this in the film, but it's better when you've seen it all. And then, of course, the women here. Well, Haley Atwell's character is a new one. Interestingly enough, this is another thing about the one about the chimera virus. There was the cat burglar, Catwoman type character there that Ethan partnered up with and chased and all that stuff. Here, Haley Atwell is a cat burglar, Catwoman. Boy, wouldn't it be great if she was Catwoman, huh? In that suit. Yeah. Anyway, but the same, and yet here, instead of virus or what have you, it's the looming threat of AI. Oh no. That's crazy movies. That'll never happen. Well, but here again, there's this cat burglar involved in it, and a thief, and she finds herself in something she didn't realize was bigger than, that she thought, but what have you. So once again, Ethan's in trouble and all this stuff, but it's an interesting means by which it describes what would happen and what an AI, and with the deep fake technologies and possibilities of how you could throw off an espionage agency where they think they're on target and they're not. And there's some very clever usage of it in here, and it's all well and good. However, I've already seen this plot in the series Person of Interest, which that whole thing was that idea. A guy had created artificial intelligence and he tried to keep it secret. Government and other powers wanted it. And then ultimately there were two AI. One was good and one was bad. And so, but that whole thing, and it plays out. So it's not original, but it is rather significant beyond just the fun popcorn adventure that the film delivers. Because Person of Interest ended some time ago, and yet this is very likely in a lot of ways. Obviously, not all the stunts. Would you survive all of that? No, probably not. But still, it looks cool. The train stunt they do, and especially how it just goes on and on. It's like, and it's funny but fun at the same time. How they do that, and there's a lot of aspects of it. It's just cool to watch, and that's the big selling point of it. And so it's well worth the time. I think it's a fine film. It's fun and exciting and all of that. There's some sadness here. What are you going to do? But it's coming because they pretty much foreshadow it, that sort of thing. But a nice addition to the franchise, and but all good things come to an end, and I suspect the next one would be the end, because after that, you have to know when to walk away from these things. But all in all, a good film. And a lot of the other films, some of the technology they use, of course, the masks right off the bat, but that's a staple of Mission Impossible they've kept. But other things, he had the Spider-Man gloves in one of the movies, and stuff like that. But again, here with the AI messing around with monitoring and stuff, that's not too far-fetched, and that's kind of the scary part about it. It's just a movie. Come on, you've seen too many movies. Well, someone else did too and thought, hey, there's an idea. So anyway, I recommend it. I had fun. Sure, there's problems here and there, but that's to be expected about just about anything, really. Not enough that I was pushed out of the movie. The thing about a toothpick-limbed girl beating up guys, they couched it in the scenarios and the environment she was in, but it's a bit of that is too far-fetched. She would not have survived, or certainly wouldn't remain her consciousness in some of those battles, even with Cruz. I know he's a small guy, but still, a lot of strength in that dude. And so, yeah, that's a common thing you see in these adventure films, because you want really pretty supermodel-looking girls. And but you just got to be more clever about what advantage does she have, what can she do that the other guy, this muscle-bound man, is not expecting, or something along those lines. There is a confrontation where they kind of handle it okay, I guess, but again, no, there's ways that wouldn't have gone. And I mean, of course, Ethan Hunt wins, but still, it wouldn't have taken him that long. But anyway, beyond that, overall, it's a fun film, and that's important. Oh, yes.